Hey, what's up, guys? This is a quick tip with Miro. Just wanted to go over Ableton Live's session view, since it's their flagship feature, and how you can utilize it to, kind of build up a jam and start to build up an arrangement as well. And then it's actually a great feature or view once you do finish your song and then want to perform it. So essentially going from the studio to the stage. So I know Logic Pro's 10.5 update has just included a view that is inspired by Ableton here. I believe they call it the live loops. And I know FL Studio has something like that, and actually it's been available in GarageBand for a while as well. But I'm just going to show you how I kind of use it. And as you can see here at the top, this is where all of my tracks will start. I just have mainly a single clip of, these different instruments. I have a secondary variation of this saw stab, as well as of my drum rack. And then I also have the vocal and a reverb version and a dry version. So it's great for creating different variations within each individual instrument, because you could have essentially your intro clip, and then your verse clip, and then your chorus clip, and then breakdown, etc. And then you know exactly where those clips and where those parts are going to go once you start to flesh out your arrangement. So let's listen to the loop as it is right now with just single clips. So it's just a 4-bar loop right now. I would typically flesh this out to be at least an 8-bar loop before I started working on an arrangement. But you can see through my ARP, that's closer to a 24-bar loop, and that's because there's different variations hitting up some of these higher notes here. And I did it in, I guess, 3 sets of 8 bars so that it would create more variation once this does play through. So the first 16 bars will be different from the next 16 bars. So that's kind of why I made a, uneven number of 8 bars there. But, the violin section also over here, that's another 24-bar loop to, again, add some variation within there. These change. Obviously, you can see the notes change slightly, so it kind of creates a more organic feel instead of just looping over and over. And that's actually a problem that I experience over here within the session view, is that you can just get stuck jamming around and not actually moving over to the actual arrangement. So if you struggle to finish songs, I would definitely recommend getting over to that arrangement view as quickly as possible. Now, everyone's familiar with the arrangement view. That's in all DAWs. It's working with the time scale. Now, over in the session view, you're not really working with time. It's just as long as you want to jam with it. So you can end up with these 7 or 8 minute arrangements that you then have to trim down, and they're just excessively long. So I find it's best if, you get over there as quickly as possible and start thinking about how you really want things to build up. So given that this is Ableton's flagship feature, let's say we wanted to start building up an arrangement. I'll show you how you can go about doing that. So say we want to start with the saw stab, and we'll actually put it on to scene 8 just for clarity's sake. I like to keep a bank of all of my clips and variations here at the top, but let's say we wanted to start with this. Okay, duplicate that down. Next, I want the vocals to come in. Okay, I like that. And then next, let's have the bongos and also the ARP start at the same time. Okay, I like that sound as well. And let's add the clap in. Okay, that sounds good. And like I said, I'd split out this drum rack, but since I don't have that yet, we'll just start with that. And I actually want that to play through twice. Probably have a bit of a roll and some effects building up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we hit the drop. I bet that would play through twice, so I'll duplicate that down just to show, but not going to hit secondary thing. So then in this breakdown, let's have the violin come in. Maybe for the second half, we change up the arp slightly. And then duplicate that down one more time. Let's get this here and the secondary drum rack. So you can very quickly see how just within a few seconds I was able to start building up the arrangement from kind of the intro to a drop or an intro drop on this scene here, and then into a small breakdown, and then back into maybe the full drop. So, you know, this typically would work better if I had a few more instruments, but this gives you a basic idea of how you can just quickly flick through each scene and start building up your arrangement this way. Now, you can also flick in between different scenes now that you've kind of built up the arrangement and said, okay, well, what if I went from this main drop here on this bottom scene, and then we went back to the breakdown? What would that sound like? Or a really stripped back version. Maybe this would be the main break of the song. Okay, yeah, I kind of like that, and then maybe we'd build it up again, I don't know. And then after that, we just want to drop it. So you can see how you can very quickly flick between different sections of your song here. So we could have been recording that whole time, you know, and you can record it from here by enabling your arrangement record and just flick through each of these scenes, kind of like we'd done. I just wasn't recording into the arrangement view. But I find that this, you know, is about as far as I would go if I were to start building up an arrangement within, you know, the session view. Like I said, I like to get over to the arrangement view as quick as possible. But say you didn't really like that, and, you know, you wanted it to be more organic, you know, and kind of jam the track. This is where, like I said, I feel like I can get those 6, 7, 8 minute arrangements. It's if you have all your clips playing at once, but then this is kind of an old school way of doing things. But let's say, you know, we're going to take the same basic structure, but let's mute everything, and then we're just going to have the saw stab in at first. And so this makes it so you can actually make a few more like lead-ins or pickup notes, and kind of gets your eyes off the screen so much. So if you have like a Ableton Push or a Launchkey Pro controller, you can launch these clips on your controller. And like I said, it makes it great for live performance, because then you can just say, well, I want the clap to come in now, or, well, I want, you know, the bongos to come in now. And you just individually turn on each of these clips, and then you can do kind of like a live remix of your actual song. So let's just practice this, and I'll show you what I mean here. If I hit the arrangement record button, we're just going to start with kind of the same exact arrangement as I'd shown you by building it up within the clip view. And so I actually like that, because I can get a bit of that pickup note of that vocal in there. Now, it is trickier to get 2 clips started at once. And again, if you had a controller, it'd be a lot easier to do that with. One more time. And by all means, make mistakes. You can go fix that in the arrangement later. 1, 2, 3. So again, if I had a controller, I would be able to mute these on and off really easily. And you can just build up a jam through using a controller. I'm just showing you with a mouse. But let's go back to the breakdown. and then we want that to start. Now that's starting in the wrong section of the violin since it's been playing, but again, I can fix that. And maybe have a few more things right there, but so you get the idea. Now, if I went over here to our arrangement view now, you can see that we just recorded that. Now, obviously, I have these automation for these clips turning on and off. You can go through and then delete the parts where they're actually off and break it out and clean it up. I know that the ARP didn't start at the exact right time since I wasn't using my controller, but then you could just move this over. Move the perk over correctly. And, like I said, you can get some interesting, it's a little more fun to jam the track. Like I said, I did like this pickup note within the vocal that I couldn't really accomplish before just by starting and stopping each clip. So you can make it a little more organic if you go about it like that. Just wanted to show you some quick ideas on how you can use the arrangement view. Now, the final thing that I wanted to go over was if you were to use this within a live performance. So if I had an entire arrangement already done, so the song is finished, I've done all the work in the studio, and then I'm going to go onto the stage and perform it. Essentially, I would take, my individual grids at 8 bars or 16 bars and chop them out and then bring them over to my session view, kind of like I'd shown you before, where we were building it up in the session view. You can then work in reverse and bring your final arrangement into your session view, so then you can perform it live and kind of do all of your effects on stage. And say your crowd really likes they're really break friendly, maybe you have the breakdown just play for an extra 8 to 16 bars while you're on stage. And so the goal is to not completely duplicate your finished arrangement. The goal is to then perform it and make it more exciting for you to be live. So once you do get to that live performance template, you would typically want your entire track to fit within 8 columns and or audio tracks, because that's how most controllers are situated. So you have your vocals and your stab, and then the ARP, if that means bouncing all 3 of those to a single audio track that then you have different clips for, that would be the way to go about it, so that all those similar items all fit on one audio channel that, again, you are performing live. So the final trick to show you here is that you can delete stop buttons by hitting Control E, and I'm not exactly sure how to do that in other DAWs. So let's say we copy this entire scene down to here, and then we have a second variation there, but we really didn't want the other tracks to stop playing once that second variation is triggered. We can then delete these stop buttons, so that essentially we're going to switch from scene 5 and 6 here, but nothing's going to change, just really showing that we're going to add a variation to saw stab number 2 and then drum rack number 2. So So that variation was added there without stopping the other clips. And so, instead of like we had seen before where we were building it up and there was a clip in every single track, maybe it helps you visually track where you are within your performance and the song. So that's about it. I hope this was helpful for you guys. If you like this video, please give me a like and a follow, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and happy music making.